Hey guys, welcome to our Q&A. It's meant to be Nat, myself and Mad Mick, but unfortunately his job has come in between him and fun once again, so he wasn't able to join us today, but that's okay. We'll catch up with him soon, I'm pretty sure, and we'll keep those questions that you guys asked from Mad Mick. But luckily there's a whole bunch of questions for us two Muppets anyway, so I pretty much just saved them all, and we'll get through as many as we can. I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who asked questions. It was a pretty good response. We got heaps to try and work through, so we'll see how we go. Now, of course, since this was Donna Gardner's idea,
Thanks, Donna.
We'll get to hers first. So Donna wants to know, have you changed any of the gearing on your bikes to suit bush or road?
I changed mine from 1452 to 1350 because I needed new sprockets, and Josh said that the gearing wouldn't be different, but it is. It's a little bit different. It is. You ride it.
Yeah, I'd hardly notice.
But no, we don't really change the gearing to suit bush or road. We just ride with what we feel comfortable in the bush and what works for us. And if we ride on the road, it's not for very long anyway, so it's not a big deal.
I've got pretty high gearing on the 500 to 1450. A lot of people wouldn't really run that for doing enduro. They'd probably run 1350 maybe, but I don't mind it. I very rarely use first gear, even for doing gnarly hill climbs. I'll just feather the clutch in second, and it actually gives you way more traction than having that revvy first gear. Donna also asks, Nat, as a female rider generally riding with only males, do you have any advice for other female riders?
Well, when I first started, I was very green and the guys were always like way ahead, and I was the slowest of them all. So I just become the sweep once I got used to all the tracks. And you know, there's always one guy that's in front of you that looks behind to make sure that you're all sweet, but I generally just used to chill at the back, and I still do most of the time, just chill out the back. And it was a bit nerve-wracking to start with, but I just thought, bugger it, if they're cool dudes then they'll just help you out or give you advice on the track, and 9 times out of 10 they were really great. Well, they still are, so just get out there and just do it, really.
Yeah, it really depends on the sort of people you're riding with. We're pretty cruisy, and we don't, like, I get a bit impatient with Nat now and then, but when we're in a big group, we're pretty tolerant of slower riders. We're happy to help them out where
Absolutely.
we can. And that's the sort of people that we like to ride with too, that aren't too impatient.
But the riders that we ride with aren't impatient anyway.
No, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Thanks, Donna. So Jeff Corradetti from Soupy Socks Adventures, if you haven't seen his channel, he loves drowning his bike. Make sure you check it out. We'll put a link in the description if you want to see that. Jeff asks, does Josh whine a lot off camera? Now, he spelt wine, W-I-N-E.
So that's a yes.
I do drink a fair bit of wine, Jeff, yeah. That's when I'm not having beers. I think it's slightly less carbohydrated for my fat gut. But do I whine as in whinge a lot off camera? Now, be honest, for the people who would like to know the truth, I do complain.
He does yeah, actually
I'll get the ball rolling here, because she's obviously hesitant to say, yes, I do complain.
Well, it's the last thing I think about, so I don't even focus on you whining. But yes, if you want to focus on it now, then yes, he does.
Yeah, I do. I complain.
Yep.
Some days more than others.
But then that's when I come into play, and I'm like, darling, just relax, it's all good.
She balances, talks a bit of sense into me.
But he does the same for me.
We're out here, we're lucky to have this area to ride in. A lot of people don't have as awesome areas as we have. It's great, so there's really nothing to whine about, so I need to just pull my head in and shut the hell up.
But off camera and not riding, no.
Oh yeah, not in general.
No.
Much. So thanks for the question, Jeff. Luke Poggy asks, riding a KLX 250 for about 2 years now, just wondering what bike would you recommend to move up to for some tougher trail and longer rides. KLX 250 I think is probably pretty similar to the WR 250R that we have both had, and again very similar to the CRF 250L, which is a great little adventuring bike just to get out and, you know, low maintenance and just go exploring on, really. If you want to get into some tougher stuff, definitely do what we've done. Go for the EXC KTMs if you can afford them. I know they're not cheap. We got ours second hand for a, you know, pretty good price. So but any of the Jap full-on enduro bikes, like, you know, the WR 450F.
But ideally you'd want something a bit lighter than the KLX 250.
Yeah, you just need to decide how much power you want. You know, there's the 250 EXCs, probably great bikes. The little Yamaha WR 250Fs, good little motors. So yeah, really at the end of the day, it depends on your budget, how much you want to spend. The more you spend, the better quality you get, and the lighter it's going to be, obviously.
Yeah, and get out there and ride a couple. Like if you know mates that have got other bikes that you want to have a ride on, and they'll let you, take it for a bit of a spin and see what you think. But yeah. I'd definitely recommend trying a couple before you go out and buy.
Okay, Luke Poggy's second question for Nat. My girlfriend wants to ride with me, but she is not sure what bike to start off with. Any info would help from a girl's perspective.
I started off with the CRF 150F. That was like a very entry level bike. I could touch the ground. It wasn't super powerful.
Very low.
Yeah, very low to the ground, and
anything that the girls can get their feet to the ground is a huge confidence booster.
Yep, definitely.
But being that bike's not registerable, so
no.
Depending on where you want to ride and whether you can get away with, you know, if you can ride on private property on an MX bike. If you need something that's registered, then
I'd probably look at maybe the TTRs.
Yeah.
The TTR 250?
I'm not sure on the range.
Yeah, but registerable bike, I'd check out the TTRs. They seem like a pretty good bike, and there's quite a few out there.
Quite cheap too. Thanks, Luke. Okay, Bobby Becker wants to know, how did Nat and I meet? Okay, so back about 5 years ago, I was just getting back into riding. I was almost 40. I picked up a Yamaha WR 250R, and there was actually an outstanding recall on that bike at the time, so I went to my local dealer, Yamaha dealer, which was Gimpy Moto, and that happened to be working there at the time. What were you doing at Gimpy Moto? Selling?
I was doing parts. I was a parts manager there.
I was just going to wait around while the bike got the recall done. It was a stator recall or something. I had to replace the stator, which I think Brucey did for me. Thanks, Bruce. I didn't know Bruce back then, but now I've ridden with him a few times. Anyway, yeah, I chose to wait around in the little nook they had there. You could make a cuppa and sit down and wait. And you know, they said go and make a coffee or whatever, so I went to make a coffee, and someone had just boiled the kettle and left a cup sitting on the bench, and I was like, oh, that was pretty handy. Not thinking about it, just made myself a cuppa using that cup that was sitting there. So I'm sitting there sipping on my cuppa, and next thing I see these two girls over there, and they're like sniggering and pointing at me and having a bit of a laugh, and I was like, what's funny? And she goes, oh, did I ask you then? Or
no, I went to go and make a cuppa. Because I put the cup down and heated up the kettle, and I've come in to fix it up and make myself a cup of tea.
You walked away, there was nobody there. I didn't see anybody there.
And then I'm like, oh, where's my cup? And then I turn around and he's using my cup. And he's like, oh, do you want it? I'm like, no, that's fine, I'll get another one.
Too late now, I've already slobbered on it.
And then months had passed. And
I stalked her on Facebook.
Yeah, because we had a mutual friend. We had a mutual friend, so he stalked me on Facebook, and he hit me. He sent me a message, and he goes, are you the girl whose cup I used? I'm like, what?
At Gimpy Moto.
I'm like, what? I had to think about it for a minute, and I'm like, yeah, that was me. And then
so it wasn't love at first sight. He didn't even remember me.
And so he kept hitting me up for rides and stuff, and I kept saying no, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. So we ended up going for a ride out at Ammermoor, and that was our first ride together, and
she went crashing through a barbed wire gate. I couldn't believe. She didn't even get hurt at all. I couldn't believe it.
And that was the first time I'd ever ridden out in this sort of hard enduro stuff, and Josh thought I'd been riding out here for ages, or doing hard stuff for ages, but that was like my real first ride after having my bike.
I nearly killed her on our first date. It wasn't really a date. But,
no, but then we've been together ever since, so.
All right, let's get on to the next question. Thank you, Bobby Becker. That was a good one.
And we've got one here from Robert Reynolds. Hi, Rob here from Tasmania, piloting a Honda BRP X.
Big Red Pig.
Oh, okay, cool. Big Red Pig XR650R. How long has Nat been riding for?
We both pretty much started riding at the same time,
Yep.
roughly, even though we didn't know each other.
No, around 2015. I think it was September 2015. So about 5 years now.
Pretty solidly, like most weekends we're out riding. You'd think we'd be better, but anyway, we still have fun.
Yep.
Ray Anchor wants to know what were our very first motorbikes and how old were you each when you got them?
I was
5 years ago, 32.
32. 30.
Did you carry the one? Yeah.
No, yeah. So I was 32 and I started off on a Honda CRF 150F.
So you never had a bike when you were younger at all?
No.
When you were a kid?
No.
My first bike was, I think I was roughly around 17 years old, and I bought a DT175, dirty old two-stroke Yamaha. I didn't know anything. Being a kid, as you are, you don't know much about maintenance and all that sort of stuff, so I just rode it into the ground and it pretty much died a horrible death. But it was fun while it lasted. Mr. Darby Shaw, we call him the pantsless hoodie man these days.
No.
He wants to know who is the boss in this relationship, the real boss.
Well,
I don't think there really
there
is
isn't
one.
really there isn't a boss. There is no boss. We both do things together. We both communicate, we don't really...
We make decisions together.
Yeah, that's right. We make decisions together. We don't do anything without talking to each other about stuff. And
Except when that goes on Facebook Market and buys useless shit without asking me about it. But that's all right. Usually it works out okay.
yes. And normally when I buy things, Josh always says to me, oh, we don't need that. Why do we need that for? We don't need that. And then next minute, oh, you know that thing you bought? That was a really good idea.
What you see is what you get. I know a lot of people on social media, they have one life on social media and then it's a whole different story behind the scenes. But with us, what you see is what you get. We don't argue. We just don't argue. We're best friends. We probably argue less than best friends argue, to be honest. So there's no real boss, Darby. Sorry to
disappoint you, Darbs.
Darby also asked, do you really make Nat clean your bike after every ride, Josh?
No. I make him wash my bike after every ride.
If there's enough time after a ride, say if we ride on a Saturday, we'll wash our own bikes on the Sunday. Darby, the king of smart-ass questions, also asked, can you teach me to do wheelies, Josh? I could probably try, but I don't think you've got what it takes, Darbs.
Aww, cut down.
Hey, when he comes out with just a hoodie on, we'll have a crack.
I won't be there, so you can go by yourself.
That'll be funny. Bit of nut rash on the old seat. Thank you for those great questions, Darby. Our good buddy Jimmy Bling wants to know how Nat and I stay so calm with each other, being with each other 24/7. I think that's sort of been answered already, Jimmy. We just don't fight. I don't know, I guess a lot of couples can't agree on everything and argue a lot, but we just don't.
Nah.
We're lucky.
Yep.
Very lucky in that way. We get shits with each other now and then, very rarely and very mildly.
Yeah.
We're generally pretty quick to talk about it and sort it out. So
absolutely.
So there's no bad blood. Plus, as they say, play together, stay together. It's true. Damon Stangelin, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Damon. It's a tricky one. Damon Stango wants to know how we met Mad Mick. I'm pretty sure Mick might be able to correct me on this one. I'm pretty sure we were posting our videos in the Queensland Adventure Riders Facebook group, and Mick might have commented on one of them, and from there he got invited on a fairly big ride. We did a big group ride, and we didn't really know what to expect. We had no idea how it'd go on the Big Africa Twin doing the tracks that we did, and he just smoked it. He pretty much smoked everybody that day, and it was great. So yeah, that was how we first met Mad Mick, and he lives in the same town as us too. So just had to move out of the freaking sun. It was getting too hot. So Damon's second question was, how do we meet? What was it?
Have you ever just randomly stumbled across someone in the field and became riding buddies? How do you guys meet people to ride with?
Yeah, generally people hit us up through Facebook or whatever if they're in the area, and either that or friends of people that we know. That's pretty much it. We don't like advertise rides and just have a free-for-all of anyone that wants to turn up, because people can end up getting hurt if they bite off a bit more than they can chew. I was trying to think of any people we've come across out in the bush and ended up being riding buddies, but I don't think that's ever happened.
No.
I have met up with blokes and tagged along on rides with them, but never actually become riding buddies with any of them. It's pretty rare. Usually people are out with their own groups and doing their own thing, so yeah. CRF 1000L Oz asks, what undies does Mick run on his gigantic nuts? I can't actually answer that, but
it's funny.
I did actually mention that question to Mick the other day, and he said he was thinking about going commando.
Oh!
Krug, good old Krug. I think his actual name's Craig.
Oh, okay. And
Krug.
his question was, g'day guys, when did you both start riding dirt bikes? We answered that just a bit earlier.
Oh yeah, 5 years ago.
Okay, about 5 years ago. He also wants to know when Josh is going to get himself an Africa Twin.
Interesting question. That opens a whole can of worms. We might get into that another video. But yeah, we are definitely in the market right now for some adventure bikes. Possibly not as big as an AT, but yeah, we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, good question, Krug.
And Jeff Taswelder
Says,
well, he said, darn it, I forgot what I wanted to ask.
Tasmanians. Tas-fucking-manians.
But thanks for the comment. David Smith, which EXC is better for road... What?
You're worse at reading than me. Oh my god.
Which EXC is better for road riding, 350 or 500? In the UK, we have simple, muddy...
Oh, read good. The font is like massive. She can't, because, you know, I'm blind, so I need it huge to be able to see it, and she still can't read it.
Shut up.
In the UK, we have simple muddy green lanes, but 40% road, 60% single track. PS, former motocrosser, now 48, old and grey, bit like you. Good on you, David. For road riding, I probably wouldn't get either of those bikes, but definitely the 500 EXC, basically because it has a higher oil capacity. It's got a 1.5 litre oil capacity. You can probably get away with stretching out those oil change intervals. The 350 is only 1 litre of oil, and definitely being a bigger capacity engine, that's going to struggle a lot less on the road. You're doing a lot of road riding on these bikes now. You probably should be putting a cush hub in it to save the gearbox. There's probably not that much difference between the 350 and the 500. At the end of the day, it's what bike you prefer power wise. Obviously the 350 is a bit more of a high revving. It's got the poke up in the top end, whereas the 500 is just a grunty tractor that just, you don't need to rev it at all. Which I love it. It's perfect for me. Anyway, just going to quickly change the GoPro battery.
See you in a minute. And we're back.
I hope this isn't boring you too much, guys. But just remember, you asked these questions. FaZe Buckley.
FaZe Buckley.
A lot of people asked, well, a fair few people asked this question. What do you do for a living? So Nat works in spare parts at a Hyundai and various other franchise dealership.
Yep.
You're a parts manager or something?
No, just a parts interpreter. Bit of service advising.
So she is a full-time primary breadwinner in this relationship. I've got a pretty checkered history of employment. I've done a lot of grunt work, a lot of forklift driving, that sort of thing. My last job was doing 12-hour rotating shift work at a local particle board factory. When I do work, I tend to save up, just live cheap and save up and dump a whole lot of money in my bank account that I can then retire for a while, live on. And I'm at the moment trying to make a go of this YouTube thing. Surprisingly, it actually keeps me busy pretty much all week between editing videos, which you guys know takes a lot of time. the editing, there's the merch that we're getting made and designing the logos for and all that crap, and then selling them, taking the orders and shipping them all out. All that stuff takes a lot of time. Plus we've got our website that I maintain.
Created.
So what I do doesn't bring in a lot of money, but it's you know, it's slowly building up, and we get a bit of money from YouTube ads and selling merch and
you amazing Patreons out there.
just getting to the Patreons. Those guys are awesome. They help out a lot. We're doing quite well.
Yeah, we do all right.
Money wise, you know, we have enough to buy a beer now and then and put fuel in the bikes so we can keep on making videos, and we've got a roof over our head and food on the table, so it works pretty well at the moment. But yeah, so this is my job, what we're doing right now, working on a Saturday, but it's a dream job.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't want it?
Yeah.
So we've got a question here from Mark Ferguson. Have you guys considered the auto recluse clutch, and would it be any good for the trails you ride? Me personally, it would feel like riding an automatic bike, and that's pretty boring. You want to ride your bike. So I've never thought about putting a recluse clutch in it. Pretty ignorant of me, probably doesn't really know much about the recluse clutch to even comment, but we've known someone who has had a recluse clutch and seemed like pretty automatic system to me. So that's a big no from me.
Be weird not having a clutch lever.
Yeah. So, and what do you reckon?
I have no doubt that it would make certain situations easier, not having to worry about it, but it's not for me. I haven't actually tried it, but I don't think I would like it. I'm quite happy with the clutch. I know a lot of people have bad hands, like get really sore hands from using a clutch all day. I don't have any dramas with that. I'm happy to have a manual bike and just stick with a proper clutch. But it's one of those things. I think it's a matter of personal taste. Cheers, Mark.
KDM89. Question for Nat. When will you organise a chick riding day again? Would you travel to Victoria to ride? To be honest, I don't really know that many chicks. I mean, we've got a few chicks that we ride with already, and I'm sure they would have chick mates, so I don't know, maybe it's something I can talk to them about and organise, I guess, but...
Nat hasn't really organised a girls' ride. No. There was one ride that she went on that was organised by another.
Yeah, that was organised by someone else. So I have been on one chick ride.
There's a whole backstory to that. We won't go into it too much, but one of MZ's ex-girlfriends is a dirt bike rider, and because we're still friends with MZ, that's causing a bit of friction between her and us. So a lot of the girls that Nat used to ride with, it's just a bit of a hard situation. You know, these things happen. We were sort of hoping that it would all be water under the bridge, but apparently it's not going to happen. So it is what it is.
Yep.
It's a shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like if there's any girls that want to go for a ride with Nat, I'm sure she'd be happy to organise something. As for travelling to Victoria to ride, I can pretty much say no, we wouldn't trailer the bikes down there. However, once we get our adventure bikes, we will definitely be looking at riding down that way. We'd love to catch up with Mark Victor from Bike a Bit and
Rod from Mile Munchin Adventures.
Yeah, and do the Great Ocean Road and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So thank you, KDM89. I assume that's a girl that asked that question. Just Tex wants to know why we get our stickers from the US. Basically, I haven't found anyone in Australia that can match the price and quality and ease of ordering that Sticker Mule provides. We get pretty good prices from that company and free delivery. At the end of the day, we want to supply stickers for the best price that we can for you guys, so we source them as cheap as we can. Untus David, I don't know what kind of name that is, but anyway, what's he asking? Let's
get down to business.
Since you fall because you can't reach the ground and not because of lack of ability, have you thought about another lower bike, or are there no decent choices?
Normally when I fall, it's because of stupidity or a hole that I put my foot into. I love my 350. If anything, I'd probably upgrade to a 500, but I'm not ready for that yet, I don't think. Well, I am, but I don't want to. It's low enough for me. It's just sometimes I get myself in a sticky situation. I can't see where I'm looking and I just put my foot in a hole and it's all over. But sometimes it is a lack of focus and concentration, I guess. Some of those falls can be avoided quite easily. But no, I haven't thought about changing my bike, no.
It is lowered too. It's lowered
60
millimeter from stock, so.
Yeah. Look at Meg's Brap, for example. She's a short rider and she smashes it on her 2-stroke, and I don't think she's done anything to her suspension. She just build up the skills and just smashes it.
When you're starting out, you really want to be able to get your feet on the ground.
Absolutely.
But I think that's at a point now where she just needs to wake up to herself and stop crashing. No, but it's a low bike. When I sit on it, I don't know if you guys saw Moz riding it in Big Bike Enduro 4. The wheel was just out rubbing on the back guard.
Yeah. Question for Josh. Since you feel old, what advice would you ask Mick, who is older than you but still drives like a phenomenon?
The biggest thing that I think is fitness, like for his age. I know he's not that much older than me. He's maybe 10 years older than me.
Probably.
It's harder, obviously everybody knows it's harder to stay fit the older you get. I just watch Mick, even in the videos and stuff, and watch what he does and try and
replicate it.
Try and learn from it, because he's so fluid on that bike. James Riley asks, aside from Mary Valley, #1 spot in the world, where or which event would each of you most like to adventure or take part in? What would be the dream ride for that? Yes, Josh, we know, even if it's the Isle of Man TT, you'd ride on golden tyres.
Absolutely.
I think at the moment we want to do a big, once we get our adventure bikes, we'd love to do either the Simpson Desert or the Cape York trip.
Yep, absolutely.
That's our next dream to achieve. We can't do it. We could do it on these bikes, but we're not going to because they're just not suited. So yeah, Simpson Desert, middle of Australia, or top of Australia, Cape York. Thank you, James. Bork Fork asks Mick, how can we convince Nat and Josh that the best bikes in the world are made by Honda? Life's too short to ride KTM. Well, that guy's obviously delirious, so we'll just skip over that question.
Skip.
We'll leave that one for Mad Mick to answer.
Although I did have a Honda, she was a good bike.
Yeah,
but I woke up to myself.
Nothing wrong with Hondas, but
no, we just prefer the KTMs.
Nothing wrong with KTMs. No. Clayton asks, how many running hours on the bikes? So 270 hours now on the 500 and 165 hours on the 350. Clayton also asks, have you found the running cost of owning KTMs to be a lot of myths and conjecture, because a service kit is actually cheaper for a Husky KTM than my Honda 250L, and most parts seem very reasonable. So far we've spent bugger all money on these bikes. If you buy genuine KTM, a lot of the times it is quite expensive. Of course, we got Jesse at Wide Bay Motorcycles who looks after us on price with a lot of stuff, but cheers Jesse. But a lot of stuff you can get aftermarket stuff for the same price you would for a Yamaha or a Honda or whatever. As far as engine parts and that, we haven't had to spend any money on that sort of stuff really yet. So
not at all.
After a year of ownership, brake pads again, stuff like that, it's all much of a muchness between bike brands. Owning these bikes has been the same or even cheaper than the Yamahas we had. So it is a bit of a myth. Like, if you want to go down the genuine path with everything, you're probably going to spend a little bit more. There's no doubting that genuine Austrian parts are a bit on the expensive side.
Thanks, Clayton.
Ari Pramono, our little Jakartan Indonesian mate, wants to know when Mad Mick, MZU and Nat drive again together to explore the wilderness. Now, we will do that as soon as we can. MZ's bike is still
broken.
But I think he's just waiting for some new plastics or something. But yeah, we can't actually ride with a lot of different people at the moment because of the coronavirus. But as soon as we can, we'll get.
We'll have to organise something.
Yeah,
for sure. So thanks, Ari.
Georgie Speedy Gonzalez asks, is MZ still single? No, sorry Georgie, he's got a girlfriend. I actually just made that question up. I put that in there. George didn't actually ask the question. Grey Muzz actually came in with a late entry last night asking, have I always ridden big bores? What are my thoughts on two-stroke enduro bikes? Well, I don't see any advantage to riding a two-stroke other than a slight weight advantage, and it's pretty negligible between the new 4-strokes and the new 2-strokes. There's not a lot of weight difference, but the biggest one is the power delivery. I think certain people like the way a 2-stroke delivers power. Some people like a 4-stroke. I like a 4-stroke. That's just the way it is, and I don't see any reason to change.
I don't like the fact that they've got no engine compression.
The engine braking thing is a bit of a drawback.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, it's just something that you get used to on a 4-stroke. If you've never ridden 4-strokes much, you wouldn't really miss it.
Yeah, it's too hard. We like simplicity.
Yeah, the 4-strokes are more of a jump on and ride, and
yeah, we're just lazy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The bottom line. We're just lazy. Yeah. We just want to be able to get on the bike and just go. Yeah. Other people, they enjoy mixing the fuel and rebuild, but you know, it's a bike. People enjoy them, so just get on it and ride it.
Yeah, it's what it comes down to, what you like.
Yeah.
You know. On that note, that is the end of the questions, and we're going to continue riding our dirt bikes, our 4-stroke dirt bikes.
And go on and have some fun.
Thank you for watching. If you got this far, you've done pretty well.
Oh yeah. Thanks for sticking around.
And again, unfortunately, Mad Mick wasn't able to be here for this one, but he appears keen to rejoin the MVDBR crew for some more riding action. So when we can, we will hit him up and ask him all those questions that you guys posted. So thanks guys, we appreciate it when you press that little thumbs up too if you enjoy this video, and make sure you're subscribed.
Yes, and hit the little bell so you get the notifications. We're gonna wrap it up and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Cheers guys.
Can you cut this out for a second? You need to cut this out of the video because there was a mosquito on you, so
Mosquito bite my dick. I did actually mention that to Mick, that question. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it costs too much to rebuild a 4-stroke, all those complicated valves and timing chains.
Okay.
Wait, I'm going to have to change the battery before we...
Okay, alright.
Man, my legs have gone to sleep.
So dead. I can't even move.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even turn the bloody camera on. It hasn't been recording.